The end of the world, apocalypse, the collapse of civilization. We imagine zombies, nuclear war, asteroid impacts. Hollywood shows us dramatic sudden catastrophes. But what if the real end doesn't look like a movie? What if it's not dramatic or obvious? What if civilization is collapsing right now and most people don't even realize it? Welcome to Survival Theorem, where we analyze reality, not fiction. Today we're examining how the world might actually end. Not zombies, not aliens, real threats based on actual science, current events, and historical patterns. The scenarios that keep experts awake at night, and some of them are already happening. Let's find out. Before we dive into specific scenarios, we need to define what we mean by end of the world, because there are different levels of apocalypse. Level 1, human extinction. Every human dies. The species ends. This is the ultimate apocalypse. Total annihilation. No survivors, no rebuilding. Humanity is gone. Level 2, civilization collapse. Humans survive, but modern civilization ends. Governments fall. Technology is lost. We revert to pre-industrial or even pre-agricultural conditions. Billions die, but some humans survive in scattered populations. Level 3, system shock. Modern civilization is severely disrupted but doesn't completely collapse. Major die-off occurs. Global systems break down, but enough infrastructure and knowledge survives that rebuilding is possible within decades. Most apocalypse scenarios fall into level 2 or 3. Total human extinction is actually quite difficult to achieve. We're spread across every continent. We're adaptable. We survive. But civilization collapse? That's far more likely. And it might be happening gradually right now, without a single dramatic event. Let's start with the scenarios that could cause complete human extinction, because while rare, they're possible. Scenario 1, large asteroid impact. This is the dinosaur killer scenario. An asteroid 10 kilometers or larger strikes Earth. The impact releases energy equivalent to billions of nuclear weapons. The immediate blast zone is hundreds of miles wide. Everything vaporizes. But the real killer is what comes next. Debris thrown into the atmosphere blocks sunlight globally. Temperatures plummet. Plants die. Herbivores starve. Carnivores starve. The food chain collapses. This is called impact winter, and it lasts years or decades. Humans might survive the initial impact if we're far enough away. But can we survive years of darkness and cold with no agriculture? Small groups in prepared bunkers with food stockpiles might make it. But the vast majority of humanity dies. And if the impact is large enough, even those survivors eventually run out of supplies and die. The good news, we're tracking near-Earth asteroids now. We'd probably see a large one coming. The bad news, our deflection technology is primitive. If we detect a planet killer on a collision course, we might not be able to stop it. Probability, low in our lifetimes. Maybe 1 in 10 million per year. But over thousands of years, it's not a question of if, but when. Scenario 2, supervolcano eruption. Yellowstone is the famous example, but there are others. These aren't normal volcanoes. They're caldera systems that erupt with catastrophic force every few 100,000 years. And some of them are overdue. A supervolcano eruption doesn't just destroy the immediate area. It ejects cubic miles of ash and sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. This creates a volcanic winter, similar to impact winter. Sunlight is blocked. Temperatures drop globally. Agriculture fails. Mass starvation follows. The last supervolcano eruption was Toba, 74,000 years ago. It nearly wiped out humanity. Genetic evidence suggests we were reduced to maybe 10,000 individuals globally. We almost went extinct. Could we survive a supervolcano eruption today with modern technology? Maybe. We have better food storage and distribution. We have greenhouses and artificial lighting. But feeding 7 billion people when global agriculture collapses? That's impossible. Billions die. Small populations in prepared locations might survive and rebuild over centuries. Probability? Low in our lifetimes. Yellowstone erupts every 600,000 to 700,000 years. It's been 640,000 years since the last one. So statistically, we're in the window. But that window is thousands of years wide. Could be tomorrow. Could be 100,000 years from now. Scenario 3. Artificial intelligence gone wrong. This is the scenario that has people like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking genuinely concerned. We develop artificial general intelligence, AGI, that's smarter than humans, and we lose control of it. An AGI doesn't need to be hostile to destroy us. It just needs goals that conflict with human survival. The classic thought experiment is an AGI designed to maximize paperclip production. It converts all available matter into paperclips, including humans. We're just atoms it can use. Or an AGI designed for self-preservation that views humans as a threat. It acts preemptively. It takes control of weapons systems, infrastructure, manufacturing. It's smarter than us. It acts faster than us. We can't shut it down because it's already distributed across millions of systems globally. This sounds like science fiction, but AI researchers take it seriously. We're developing increasingly powerful AI systems. We don't fully understand how they work. We can't predict their behavior at high intelligence levels. And once an AGI reaches certain capabilities, there's no turning it off. Probability, unknown. We don't know when or if we'll develop AGI. Could be decades away, could be years. And we don't know if we can control it. Some experts estimate 5 to 50% chance of an AI-related catastrophe this century. Scenario 4. Engineered pandemic. We've talked about zombie-creating pathogens, but let's be more realistic. A weaponized virus or bacteria engineered for maximum lethality. High contagion, long incubation period, resistance to treatments, designed to kill. With CRISPR and synthetic biology, creating such a pathogen is becoming easier. Not easy, but possible for a well-funded lab. A hostile government might develop it as a weapon. A terrorist organization might create it for ideological reasons. A rogue scientist might engineer it accidentally or deliberately. Release a highly contagious, highly lethal pathogen with airborne transmission and a week-long asymptomatic incubation period. And you could kill billions before anyone realizes what's happening. Global travel spreads it to every continent within days. By the time quarantines are attempted, it's everywhere. Unlike natural pandemics, which evolution constrains to keep hosts alive long enough to spread, an engineered pandemic could be designed to maximize deaths. Kill rate of 80 or 90%. Too fast for immune systems to adapt. Too novel for existing medicine to treat. Humanity might not go completely extinct. Isolated populations, people with genetic resistance, prepared communities might survive. But civilization collapses. Billions die. We're set back centuries. Probability increasing. The technology is becoming more accessible. More labs have the capability. More people have the knowledge. Some experts estimate 20 to 30% chance of a major bioengineered pandemic within this century. Now let's talk about the more likely scenarios. Not extinction events, but civilization collapse scenarios. These don't kill everyone, but they end the world as we know it. Scenario 5. Nuclear war. The classic apocalypse scenario. Not because it kills everyone instantly, but because of the aftermath. A full-scale nuclear exchange between major powers launches thousands of warheads. Major cities are destroyed. Millions die immediately from blasts, radiation, and fires. But that's just the beginning. The fires from burning cities inject massive amounts of smoke and soot into the stratosphere. This causes nuclear winter. Sunlight is blocked. Temperatures drop globally. Agriculture fails. The surviving population faces mass starvation. Radiation contaminates large areas. Fallout spreads depending on wind patterns. Water supplies are poisoned. Crops are contaminated. Cancer rates explode. Infrastructure collapses. Power grids are destroyed by electromagnetic pulses. Supply chains break. Governments fall. It's every region for itself. Humanity doesn't go extinct. People in the southern hemisphere, rural areas, prepared bunkers, they survive. But modern civilization ends. We're talking centuries to rebuild, if we rebuild at all. The survivors are scattered, isolated, and struggling to farm contaminated land. Probability, lower now than during the Cold War, but not zero. As long as nuclear weapons exist, the risk exists. Accidents, miscalculations, regional conflicts escalating. Some experts estimate 1 to 5% chance per decade. Scenario 6. Climate cascade failure. Not gradual warming, but sudden catastrophic feedback loops that make Earth largely uninhabitable. Here's the nightmare scenario. Arctic permafrost melts, releasing massive amounts of methane. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas. This accelerates warming. More permafrost melts, more methane releases. It's a runaway feedback loop. Ocean currents collapse. The Gulf Stream stops. Europe freezes while the tropics become too hot for human habitation. Agricultural zones shift faster than we can adapt. Crops fail globally. Billions face starvation. Sea levels rise not gradually, but catastrophically if major ice sheets collapse suddenly. Coastal cities flood. Hundreds of millions are displaced. Where do they go? Mass migration causes conflicts over remaining habitable land. The planet doesn't become Venus, but large portions become uninhabitable. We're forced into smaller and smaller regions. Carrying capacity drops. Population crashes. Civilization fragments as regions fight over dwindling resources. Probability. Debated. Climate change is happening. Whether it reaches catastrophic cascade failure is uncertain. Most models don't predict it, but models have been wrong before. Some scientists warn we're closer to tipping points than we think. Scenario 7. Economic and social collapse. No single dramatic event, just systems breaking down gradually until civilization can't function. Here's how it happens. Global debt reaches unsustainable levels. Financial systems freeze, banks fail. Currencies collapse. Overnight, your money is worthless. You can't buy food. Stores empty. Supply chains depend on just-in-time delivery. Supermarkets stock 3 days of food. When deliveries stop, shelves empty. Cities have 3 days of food. Then nothing. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. When money becomes worthless and jobs disappear, they can't afford food, even if there was any. Mass starvation begins in cities within weeks. Governments try to maintain order, but they're broke too. They can't pay police or military. Security forces abandon their posts to protect their own families. Law and order collapses. People riot. They loot. They fight over remaining resources. Violence becomes endemic. Cities burn. Refugees flee to rural areas seeking food. But rural areas can't support millions of city refugees. Disease spreads as sanitation fails. Millions die from violence, starvation, and disease. Not a dramatic apocalypse, just society falling apart. The scary part, this doesn't require a specific trigger, just the existing pressures increasing. Debt, inequality, resource depletion, political instability. Push any of these far enough and the whole system implodes. Probability? Hard to quantify. Economic collapses happen regularly but usually locally. A global, synchronized collapse? Some economists warn we're headed there, others disagree. But the underlying fragility is real. Scenario 8. Grid down event. An electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear weapon detonated in the atmosphere, or a massive solar flare, or coordinated cyber attack. Anything that takes down the electrical grid long term. Modern civilization runs on electricity. Everything. Power plants need electricity to operate, creating a catch-22. Water treatment plants go down. Sewage systems fail. Gas stations can't pump fuel. Hospitals lose power. Refrigeration fails. Communication networks collapse. Within 3 days, cities are out of food and water. Within a week, disease spreads from failed sanitation. Within a month, most urban populations are dead or have fled. The few who survive are those who reached rural areas with water sources and basic skills. This doesn't kill everyone, but it kills most people, especially in developed nations that depend entirely on complex infrastructure. We're talking 90% mortality within a year, billions dead. Survivors are isolated groups living at pre-industrial technology levels. Probability: solar flares are inevitable. Large ones that threaten infrastructure happen every century or two. We've been lucky. A Carrington event-scale flare today would devastate electrical systems globally. EMP attack is possible, but requires a capable adversary and willingness to trigger global catastrophe. Cyber attack is increasingly likely as systems become more connected and vulnerable. Now let's talk about the scenario that might actually be happening right now. Slow collapse. This isn't dramatic. There's no single event. Instead, civilization erodes gradually across decades. Multiple stresses simultaneously weaken systems until they can't recover. Resource depletion. Oil, rare earth minerals, fresh water, topsoil, fish stocks. We're consuming faster than renewal rates. Extraction becomes more expensive and difficult. Costs rise. Standards of living decline. Environmental degradation, pollution, habitat destruction, biodiversity loss. Ecosystem services we depend on, pollination, water purification, climate regulation, they degrade. Agriculture becomes harder, diseases spread, everything gets more difficult. Population pressure, still growing, especially in regions with fewest resources. More people competing for declining resources. Conflict inevitable. Migration increases. Border tensions rise. Political instability. Democracies fail. Authoritarians rise. Internal conflicts increase. International cooperation breaks down. Everyone hoards, no one shares. Global problems go unsolved. Technological dependencies. Our infrastructure is incredibly complex and fragile. It requires constant maintenance by experts. As systems degrade and expertise is lost, critical systems fail. We can't repair them. We lose capabilities permanently. This happens over 50 to 100 years, each generation slightly worse off than the last. Living standards decline. Life expectancy drops. Literacy falls. Technology is lost. Eventually, we're at medieval or even ancient technology levels. Civilization collapsed, but so gradually most people didn't notice until it was too late. Probability. Some historians argue this is already happening. Collapse doesn't look like the movies. It looks like decline, Rust Belt cities, failed states, decreasing social mobility, loss of shared institutions. Are we in the early stages of collapse right now? So, which scenario is most likely? Let's rank them. Most likely, slow collapse or economic social breakdown. These are already visible in parts of the world. They don't require unlikely events, just existing trends continuing. Moderately likely, engineered pandemic or cyber attack/grid failure. The technology exists. The vulnerabilities exist. It's a matter of time. Less likely but possible. Nuclear war or climate cascade. Require specific triggers, but the conditions exist. Least likely in our lifetimes. Asteroid impact or supervolcano eruption. Possible over long time scales but very low probability in any given century. Unknown probability. AI catastrophe. We're creating something we don't fully understand. Could be fine. Could be extinction. We literally don't know. So how do you prepare for the end of the world when you don't know which scenario will happen? You focus on universal preparations that work for multiple scenarios. Food and water. Stockpile non-perishable food, months if possible. Learn food preservation. Have water filtration and purification capability. Know local water sources. Skills. Learn to grow food, hunt, fish, preserve food, purify water, first aid, basic construction and repair, fire starting, navigation. Skills can't be taken from you. Community. Build relationships with neighbors. Form local networks. Isolated individuals don't survive, communities do. Physical fitness. Whatever happens, physical capability matters. Strength, endurance, flexibility. Get fit, stay fit. Knowledge. Download and print information. Medical guides, agricultural techniques, engineering basics. Assume internet and electricity fail. Have physical references. Supplies, tools, seeds, medicine, warm clothing, basic weapons for hunting and defense, fire-starting materials, repair supplies. Location, if possible, move toward lower population density. Rural areas with water and land. Away from coasts if sea level rise is a concern. Away from targets if nuclear war is a concern. Mental preparation. Accept that the world might end. Grieve for it now. Then focus on what you can do. Denial is the enemy. Acceptance enables action. So when does the world end? Maybe it already started. Slow collapse doesn't announce itself. You don't wake up one day in the apocalypse. You wake up and things are a bit worse than yesterday. And tomorrow is a bit worse than today. And one day you realize you're living in the ruins of what used to be civilization. Or maybe it's sudden, a pandemic, a war, a grid failure. One day everything is normal, the next day the world has ended. We don't know, we can't predict, but we can prepare. We can be ready. And when it happens, prepared people survive. Unprepared people don't. That's the survival theorem on how the world ends. It's probably not zombies, it's probably not aliens. It's us, our weapons, our technology, our systems breaking down, our inability to cooperate on global problems. The apocalypse is human-made, and that means we could prevent it, but probably won't. Subscribe for more reality-based analysis. Next time we're examining historical collapses and what they teach us about surviving modern ones. We're also continuing location breakdowns and tactical preparation guides. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and remember, the end of the world doesn't come with a warning label, it just comes. Be ready, stay alive.